We are following breaking news. The prosecution has rested its case in the criminal hush money trial involving former President Donald Trump. Former Trump attorney Michael Cohen took the stand again this morning, where he faced additional cross-examination. Cohen testified he spoke with Trump more than 20 times about Stormy Daniels in October of 2016 and says he would not have paid Daniels if Trump had not signed off on it. CBS News national correspondent Errol Barnett is in Lower Manhattan following all of this for us. Errol, the prosecution has rested their case. What else can you tell us?
Lilia, this is a significant moment in this first criminal trial of a former president. The star and standout witness, likely the last noteworthy person the jury will hear from before they hear closing arguments next Tuesday. Michael Cohen has left the stand as the prosecution says it has now rested its case. In their view, they've made a case to the jury that Donald Trump was guilty of these 34 felony counts by paying Michael Cohen a number of increments of checks of $35,000 in 2017 to cover up Michael Cohen's payment to adult film actress Stormy Daniels, $130,000 to keep her alleged sexual encounter with Trump a secret. The prosecution says this case proves that Trump misled the American public, and that's why they say it's not just a crime about hush money payments, which in and of itself is not illegal, but the fact that it misled the American public around an election and kept information, useful information from them, proves that this was, in effect, election interference. Just in the past hour or so, we've watched this feverish back and forth between the prosecution and defense, getting their last few questions and pieces of context into Michael Cohen to really leave an impression on the jury that he can be trusted, while the defense again and again pointed to Cohen's guilty plea, recordings that he had with Trump without Trump knowing it, and the fact, this is what the defense really tried to do, put space between Cohen and Trump. Remember, Cohen is the key character who links Trump not only to the repayments to him, but to the hush money scheme in the first place. The defense tried to suggest that on one key phone call that Cohen actually spoke with Trump's bodyguard, and that perhaps Cohen wasn't directed by Trump directly to make these repayments. And the question now lies with the jury of whether or not they believe that's the case. We're not completely finished with this trial, let's keep in mind. The defense has the opportunity to bring forward a couple of witnesses if they choose. We understand at the moment there are more technical witnesses coming to the stand, but in this historic trial, Michael Cohen, a longtime ally of Trump who said he trusted the man and was loyal to him, has completed his testimony in which he puts Trump at the center of these crimes.
Errol, we were reporting earlier that there had been some back and forth between the prosecution and the defense about recalling a C-SPAN witness to the stand. Can you explain to us what was happening there?
That's right. Well, so now the defense has the opportunity, if they choose, to bring forward witnesses they feel makes their case. And remember, all they have to do is plant enough doubt in the prosecution's witness, like Michael Cohen. This C-SPAN witness was going to testify to the validity of certain video and images. There's also a picture that they wanted to show the jury, or they were debating whether or not to show the jury, showing Donald Trump next to his bodyguard, who Cohen said he spoke with that day, understanding that what the bodyguard was relaying was on behalf of President Trump. But in the end, both the prosecution and defense agreed that that image and other evidence could be shown to the jury without calling forward more witnesses. Remember, for the jury, they're not always in the room hearing this debate between the legal teams and the judge. So they actually were out of the room for a good 30 minutes or more as the teams debated what the next steps would be. The defense wants to end strong, and while they will have closing arguments next week, this is their last opportunity to bring forward any witnesses or any evidence that best counters what we've all witnessed these past, 19 days or 6 weeks, I'm losing track, outside of this courthouse. And so these last few moments today and on Thursday is the defense's last opportunity before closing arguments to present new evidence and new witnesses. But for Michael Cohen, that's it for him for now.
Errol, I want to go back to something you were just talking about earlier in the first question. I mean, the timeline here is important, especially because of the election interference allegations that surround this case. That's not what he's being tried for. He's being tried for the falsified documents or falsification of documents. You were saying that the checks that were given to Michael Cohen, the $35,000 checks, that series was done in 2017, but the election was in 2016. How do you expect that? Do you think that the defense is going to use that to say, well, you know, how could this have been done to manipulate the election if these checks that you're accusing him of were paid the year after? Does that make sense?
Yes, Lilia, of course. And that's why that image I'm referring to is crucial, because the picture is from a video that was recorded on October 24th, 2016. That's before the presidential election. So for the prosecution, it ties the dots, the sequence, that the agreement to keep this information secret happened before the election. Cohen says so that Americans wouldn't know that this alleged sexual encounter took place. And once Trump was elected, Cohen says there was an effort inside the White House to repay Cohen, to pay him back for his alleged hush money deal with Stormy Daniels. And that's why that picture and whether or not a C-SPAN witness could come on was kind of key to this last-minute tussle here toward the end of the day.
I want to make sure to get clarity there. Errol, thank you so much for all of your reporting on this.
Yeah, you got it.